Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Doss here. The day has finally arrived. One of the most requested killers in the history of Dead by Daylight, in the decade of it existing, has finally joined the fog. None other than Jason Voorhees. It's been a long time coming. It's been a difficult and arduous road to get Jason into the fog, join the roster, and be officially included in the Horror Hall of Fame. But I wanted to make this video to explain the journey and the path Jason took to finally get here, for those of you who aren't aware. And obviously to let people know who Jason is, or if for some reason you have no idea who this icon is. So without further ado, let's take a peek into the legacy of Friday the 13th. Now, obviously, Friday the 13th is a cultural phenomenon, originating from the classic 1980 horror film where the terrifying Jason Voorhees first appeared, which, if you aren't aware, he actually didn't appear until the second movie. The first movie was his mother, Pamela Voorhees. It wasn't until the third movie when Jason got his iconic mask and weapon, his machete. Over the years, this franchise has expanded into a series of films, merchandise, and of course, a video game that captured the essence of Camp Crystal Lake like never before. With a dozen films to his name, quite a few video games, comics, and appearances in other forms of media, Jason has been around the block quite a few times. But back in 2017, the horror world was treated to Friday the 13th, the game. It allowed players to either take on the role of Jason himself or one of the many camp counselors and a couple extra characters to survive the night. It was a very popular game. It kind of hit the world by storm, and it was a competitor to Dead by Daylight. It was because of this game that a lot of people thought that Jason wouldn't be able to join the likes of Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, and all the others into Dead by Daylight. At the time, in 2017, the Friday the 13th game was doing extremely well. It was extremely well received, it was backed by very wealthy fans, and it got a lot of coverage by creators. Going onto YouTube, you can see creators like H2O Delirious, you can see people like Vanos Gaming, Achievement Hunter, big titans in the gaming sphere of YouTube for back in the day, playing this game. And it stuck around for a while. The game had a slew of updates, bringing in the different looks of Jason throughout the films, including a original design by Tom Savini himself, titled Savini Jason, a design that was meant to interpret Savini's thought of how Jason will look being in hell. On top of that, you had plenty of counselors to choose from. You had Adam Palomino, AJ Mason, Brandon Bugsy Wilson, Chad Kensington, Deborah Kim, Eric, J.R. LaChapa, Fox, Jenny Myers, Kenny Rydell, Mitch Floyd, Sheldon Shelley Finkelstein, Tiffany Cox, Vanessa Jones, and of course, the ever also iconic Tommy Jarvis. The Friday the 13th game was a interesting game to play. It was quite a bit different to Dead by Daylight, where you couldn't choose to be Jason or a counselor. You just loaded in and it was random chance. There were different versions of Jason you can play. You had part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Savini, and Retro. And for the most part, most if not all, had their own different builds and abilities to use. It was a breath of fresh air for people, and it was a really great experience for fans of Jason and Friday the 13th. They also added a little single player aspect in the cabin where you can go through a little maze finding clues and get Easter eggs and stuff along those lines. And it was supposed to receive a new map, which wasn't going to just be Camp Crystal Lake. It was going to be a spaceship with Uber Jason, aka Jason from Jason X, appearing. However, the game was not able to last long enough to see that update come to fruition. Despite to its initial success and a strong fan base, the game faced legal issues that eventually led to its shutdown. And for many, many, many years, Jason and the rights to his entire IP were stuck in legal hell. It wasn't until May 16, 2024 that Jason Universe was announced. Jason Universe was a agreement that was met. Jason Universe specifically is a multi-platform initiative created by Horror Incorporated following the resolution of the long-standing Friday the 13th legal dispute. It serves as the official banner for expanding the Friday the 13th franchise through movies, video games, immersive experiences, and merchandise. You might have heard some of the stuff that Jason Universe has been taking a part of. In television, we are going to be getting a highly anticipated prequel series titled Crystal Lake, which is being produced by A24 and is set to premiere on Peacock. We haven't really had any solo games of Jason, but he has appeared in stuff like Fortnite. He was in Multiverses, and he's also now, obviously, in Dead by Daylight. They also are in charge of immersive events, where the iconic killer was featured in things like Halloween's Horror Night, where he was in a dedicated Camp Crystal Lake inspired haunted house, which I went to in Halloween Horror Nights for 2025, and it was great. But they were able to do this because of Jason Universe. And obviously we have stuff like shorts and marketing, where there is an initiative launch of a short film titled Sweet Revenge, and he's also on banners and stuff with video games like Call of Duty and Fortnite. And with Jason Universe, it came with a redesign of Jason, which became a central talking point for the Jason Universe banner being created. And much to might be a chagrin to you and I, this is the design of Jason we are getting in Dead by Daylight. We are getting the Jason Universe Jason. Does this mean that we won't be getting cosmetics of him in his previous designs throughout the movies or even in the Friday the 13th the game? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. Once the PTB goes live, we can go ahead and check, and if there's nothing there, we can hope and see if we'll get anything on the main release. But for now, we have the Jason Universe Jason. And so like I said, fast forward to today, and the exciting news is that Jason will now terrorize the realm of Dead by Daylight, joining probably where he belongs, where he feels most at home. This is a crossover that's a dream come true for fans of both games, of the Friday the 13th game and Dead by Daylight alike. Dead by Daylight is known for bringing together the most notorious killers, and it was only a matter of time. Matthew Cote went on record many, many times stating that Jason had a standing and open invitation to join the Fog. And so, with Jason's inclusion, it's bound to bring fresh excitement and challenges to the game, but we finally did it. And I don't think I can think of a better person, character, icon to include in the game of Dead by Daylight for its 10th anniversary. Jason was the second most requested IP in the history of Dead by Daylight's career, the first being FNAF. And now we finally have him. So with the release of Jason, I hope everyone enjoys him. I hope we all have fun. And I hope we all have a fantastic 10th anniversary. But with Jason now included in the Fog, it leaves the question, what's next? Will we get the supposedly teased Pennywise? Are there more horror franchises and horror icons from television, movies, video games, anime, or even literature that we've yet to include that will spark as much excitement and bring as much eyes as stuff like FNAF and Friday the 13th? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, that's going to be it for me. It's been a wonderful 10 years of Dead by Daylight. I've had a wonderful 10 years in the Fog. And here's hoping for another 10 in the Fog in the future. If you're new around here, and you're here because of Jason, I make Dead by Daylight content as often as possible. Who knows? Might even try to study Jason as best as possible and make a guide for him. But we'll have to wait and see. One thing's for sure, though. I will be streaming the PTB with Jason on Tuesday, May 26th, if you want to tune in and check it out. But if you're new around here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I'll be happy to have you. Leave a comment down below how excited you are. And are you going to be maining Jason? Are you going to be one of the first to P100 Jason Voorhees? But as always, I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, and evening. Goodbye, everyone.